Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony for Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Hero Toys ORC Commander, I think is what it's called? Elite Soldier, Elite Warrior, something like that. You'll have the name in the title to know what it is exactly officially, but this is the ORC with the red and silver armor. Actually, there's another one, but it's different armor. It's this one. You can see what it looks like, and I'll have the name in the title. It's another ORC. I believe it's another World of Warcraft type character thing. I'm not a WoW person. You guys can let me know if there's a specific character this is based on, or if it's just a WoW type ORC in an original design. I don't know, but it looks to be a pretty cool figure, and they wanted to send the review sample when they sent Illidan. I mean, whoever that guy is, not Illidan for sure. And so I said, sure, I will review it. It looks pretty darn cool. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. All right, before we look at the figure, I do want to look at the package. It won't take very long this time because there's no window or much. It's just the face, and it's not really that guy because he doesn't have the hog ring that this has. Cool artwork though. Hero Toys, a little bit of a logo there. Not much going on. This is a sleeve. It's a very, very tight sleeve, but inside the sleeve is a black box with a window. So if you wanted that, you have that, but don't care. Okay, moving on to the figure. This guy's very photogenic. I like that. All right, let's get a height measurement. He stands to the top. We'll do this. He stands to the top of his head, roughly 19 centimeters. He's a little over that, and that's going to be just about 7.5 inches. Again, a little bit over that. We'll put this back on because it looks way cooler. All right, just for comparison, here he is up against Darwin. Definitely some size to him, a lot of bulk and some height. Now let's do a question of the day. How much are you guys into these third-party things? I am starting to be brought around. I am coming around. I like these a whole bunch. I like the TransArts Beast Wars a whole bunch, and I might be converted to a third-party guy. I figure you guys made some compelling arguments before. If the companies making the figures and holding the licenses don't care, why should we? And I'm having a hard time arguing against that. If it was my IP, I would be upset, and I'd be trying to fight it. And I know it's hard to fight these things, especially against the companies overseas, but as a consumer, if they're not worried about it, should I be? I don't know. There's an ethical question in there that's not as cut and dry as you might think it is. But let me know what you guys think. We'll keep talking about the third-party thing. I'm definitely okay with it if there's an IP out there that's not being used, and so it's not really hurting anybody. But there's still, I mean, it's still ethically wrong, I would say, at least to some degree. It's a tricky area right there, for sure. Because I keep thinking, you know, what if I had my line out and people were making figures that go with my line, or copying figures? Not that this is that, but you know, it's a weird topic. Anyway, let's get into this. This guy looks awesome. I can't help but think this is a Christmas ORC. All the red and silver and green, it just looks like Christmas, but I guess that's the way they look, and it's still a cool look for sure. And I have to say, the paint job on this armor is some of the best I have ever seen. It looks incredible. Not only did they do the red and silver, and there's shading throughout the red. You can see it's darker around the edges and things, but there's also a wash to make it look like rust. Let's get in there nice and tight. It looks awesome. It looks so good, guys, and that just goes to show all these things I say on all the other reviews from the big line companies. It doesn't take much. Throw a wash on it, and it brings it to life so much more. You could even throw 2 washes, do a black wash on this to fill in all the cracks, and then do a rust wash, and it would even come out more. But still, and then throw a dry brush on. You can always do more, but it doesn't take much to make a significant difference. This guy's armor looks awesome, and the paint is super clean. Really, really good. The little rivets in the helmet, very nicely done. All the line work, and it's not absolutely perfect, but it is impressive. And if you're not looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, so to speak, like you would in a review, it's gonna look essentially perfect. Just like when you play video games that don't have great graphics back in the day, your brain fills it in, makes it look better. So if you're not looking for problems, you are gonna see what your brain sees as perfection. You're not going to notice the issues. It looks really, really clean. The buckles are painted, even on the back. They didn't have to do things like this. These little studs are painted too. All the rivets, it's gorgeous. The skin tones, very nice, hard to see. Let's do this. The skin tones are very nice. It's a nice matte finish. Good saturation, not perfect consistency. That inner part right there is a little wrong, but there is shading throughout also, and good sculpt work. Really, really nicely done. I do have a bit of an issue in that he was shipped with his helmet on him, and so his face is really beat up. And I don't love that. He's got a lot of scuffs on his forehead and his eyebrow and stuff, but his face otherwise would have been really, really nice. Now, I probably would never bother displaying him without his helmet anyway, so it's not a huge deal for me, but Hero Toys, I would suggest throwing some plastic in there under the helmet if you're going to leave it on him, or just put the helmet in the package, because he got all kinds of scuffed up. But otherwise, it looks gorgeous. Oh, I didn't even mention that. The teeth, the ring around the tooth, the detail work in there, very, very, very clean. I love the paint work on these guys. This company is putting out quality product, that's for sure. The Demon Hunter turned out awesome, and so did this guy. Very, very, very nicely done. Love the way it looks. Love the shading on the armor. Couldn't be happier. I wish I didn't do cloth or fur on here. That's just not my thing, but of course that's fine. So if you don't care about that, it's not an issue. Looks like it might not be perfectly centered on the back, and I don't know that you can take the belt off without taking the figure apart. I don't think you can. But yeah, there's some good stuff going on here for sure. So aesthetically, 9.5 out of 10 because the head got chewed up, but otherwise it would be as close to perfect as you can get, really. It's very nicely done. Okay, on to the accessories. I'll start by saying this. You can, as you saw, I popped this off. You can also take these off if you want. So you have some versatility there. You can take his hands off, remove his gauntlets, remove these things, his shin guards. So you can do that. If you want to take off the chest armor or down here, you have to actually take apart the figure. But you can do that at your own risk. It's just ball sockets. These are going to stay on, but everything else pretty much comes off. So you have some versatility there. So those kind of count as accessories. 4 hands, you just get the 2 gripping hands that come on in the package. 2 fist hands and then 2 open hands. That's pretty good spread. You do get an alternate set of feet, so if you want to take the boots off, you can do that. And then you get a couple of big axes, really nicely detailed. This 2-sided one with the skull. A little bit of gold accent on there. A lot of nice paintwork. It looks really good. The other axe, a little more simple, but still really, really nice. You get this giant shield, which has really cool paintwork, just like the armor, and the wood on the inside looks good. And then you get this flag, like this banner flag that he would carry on his back. Very nicely done with the soft goods. Love the details on there. The wood stick looks nice. And then you get these 2 plastic clips that peg into his back. I had a little trouble actually getting them in. You might want to use a hairdryer to do that. Warm it up a little bit and then peg it through into the green part, but then he can carry the banner on his back also. So that's a pretty darn good spread of accessories. I don't know that he would need anything else. Like, that's other than like an alternate yelling head, maybe something like that, but he's loaded. So 9 out of 10. That's a good spread of accessories. Now, let's look into the articulation. I think he's going to be somewhat limited with all of the armor on, but we'll give it a go. These guys do rotate. So if you want to adjust the way that looks, you can do that. These guys obviously rotate and flex. But let's start with the head. It is double ball peg, and so he can look up pretty well. I think they probably could have done a little bit of shading around the eyes too, but it doesn't look too bad. He can't look down too far because his beard gets in the way, but with the double ball peg, you can pose his head around, I would say, well enough, and you'll probably run into more limitation with the helmet on. There's nothing they can do about that. I mean, it is just plastic, so that's reasonable. So that's all right. For the shoulders, with that on there, it'll flex with the arm, and then you can readjust this if you want to make it look better. But with all of this going on, you can see we're already bumping into the helmet. There's just a lot of plastic here. There's nothing they can do about that, so I can't fault them for it. So what I'll do is I'll just take this off to show you the shoulder articulation, and then you can decide how much armor you want on him in order to pose him. And yeah, you do get this big socket here, but from the front you don't notice it too much. So you have the big ball peg in there, just like Illidan, and then you get the ball hinge that lets the arm up come better than horizontal. Come up, wow, no sleep. Come up better than horizontal. Full rotation, of course. Bicep swivel works just fine. Double jointed elbow. It's a little bit limited due to the gauntlet, but you get at least 90 degrees out of that, even with the gauntlet on. So you get a little bit more if you take that off. I can tell my voice is starting to go again, guys. Sorry my voice has sounded scratchy lately. I'm losing my voice. I'm doing too many reviews at once. Ball pegs in the torso allow really good range, just like on the Demon Hunter, so that's really good. Even with the armor, it's pretty effective. And if you get down here to grab this torso, lower torso piece, it works even better. The joints are really nicely done. I'd love to know what plastic they're using. It feels probably like nylon on nylon, if I had to guess. It could be lubricated palm. I'll try to ask them that, but I don't know if that they'll give away their secret. But the joint feels really nice in there, so that's very good. For the hips, basically full-on splits, like all the way out. That's really nice. Going forward, really good range. I mean, for a big chunky guy, it's good range. It's not quite horizontal. Going back, you get just a little bit. You do get a thigh swivel in there. That's good. Double jointed knee with good range. Again, for a chunky guy, this guy poses. And then the feet with the boots on. Not the best range, forward and back, really. There's a lot of plastic in the way. You do get a little bit of an ankle rocker and a really big toe hinge that's really too far back on the foot. So it's not a great toe hinge, but it is there. So yeah, he doesn't have the best range of motion, especially with all the armor on, but I'd say it's certainly enough, and if you're willing to remove some armor, then you can pose him pretty well. And I think even with all of it, you'll be able to pose him enough to where he looks really cool. I mean, these big bulky guys aren't really meant to be doing martial arts poses, so I think it's perfectly sufficient. I'll give his articulation a 7. With all of the armor, a 7, probably 8 without it. He works pretty darn well, and the joints feel nice. So, time for the final verdict on this release. Just like the Demon Hunter, it's a great figure. They're executing. I don't think there's much that they can do better. Like, there are choices they could make to do things differently, of course, but not better necessarily. I'm trying to think, like, yeah, like the toe joint could be better, I suppose. It's really, really far back in the foot, and so that limits the range and the way it looks, but it's not a horrible thing. Like, I think you could get a little bit better going on with the ankles, but it pretty much works exactly the way you would want it to work. I can't really think of much that should change on this. He's just chock full of armor, so he's limited, but it's really good, guys. I'm thrilled with this line. I'm hoping they send more review samples. That would be awesome. I'd love to show you more stuff. If you guys want to see more stuff, let me know in the comment section below. But they have some really cool things out there, and I'd like to look at more of them because they're great. Yeah, I'm going to give this an overall rating of 9.5 out of 10. I don't think there's much you could do to make it better. This bugs me a lot. His face being beat up, that sucks. Like, yeah, okay, you can say, oh, he's an orc, it's scars and stuff, but no, it's just messed up paint. And so we can't do that for the review. And I'll leave his helmet on as a result, but I don't like having to be forced to do that. But yeah, otherwise, really, really good. I would suggest you check them out. You'll have to do some Googling because I don't know any of these sites personally that sell these. Big Bad Toy Store does sell some. I'll put a link to one of their products and you can try to keep an eye out there. That way you know the site is fully trustworthy. Otherwise, you're going to have to do your own research and find a retailer that you're comfortable with. But I'm not familiar with them personally, so I can't vouch for any of them. So that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.